Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, November 11th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol DJT. Now, if you watch my videos, you know that last video I said I'm not going to be covering this anymore because things pretty much had died down. There's a tight little range. Volume fell off a cliff. But here we go. Lo and behold, check out that volume increase this morning. Very nice move upwards. And there has been some signs of life. Now the question just becomes, is this sign of life today anything big? Or is this just kind of one little one-day pop and it's going to drift right back down? And I have no idea, but by using charts, we can make answering that question very straightforward. Let me change that to green to represent support. And in my mind, it has everything to do with this area here at 28.85. It's right around there. Why and how so? Well, I'm not saying this will occur, but let's say the price comes down here and then just drops down below that level. What would that be doing to the price? That would quite literally be putting the price right back to where it was at its lows. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that make a great move and then all of a sudden go right back to where they started, not exactly a sign of genuine, true strength. But to be fair, nothing can go straight up. So maybe the price comes down here, behaves like this, and then starts to curl back upwards. And at that point, what do you have? Well, you have a set of lows right there. You'd have a low right there. And if you envision each of those as stair steps, now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction. And that's the name of the game. That's what a truly strong move is going to do. Not go straight up, but at least show signs of progress. And in this situation, the quote-unquote sign of progress is staying above 28.85. So next week, that'll definitely be the key level. Next one, ticker symbol FOXO, and another big day of volume here after a big drop off. So kind of a crazy chart when you think about it. Huge volume, and then basically nothing. And then once again, very respectable volume. So if this thing has taught us anything, just because it goes quiet for a day doesn't mean that the party's over or anything like that. But I'm going to go ahead and delete these lines out because I think now there's a couple other areas that we can watch and make this extra clean. So the first area here is just this overall trend line. Now that we have more data, I think, like I said, just a very clean, very straightforward way to gauge the overarching level of resistance. And then on the flip side of things, don't even need to use a trend line. We can use our trusty moving average down there, the purple line, which is the 50-period simple moving average. So keyword being moving. As time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So in all actuality, what we have is just one big old wedge. We have our resistance, we have our support, and then it just becomes a question is who is ultimately going to win this battle? Are the bulls going to win the battle with the break to the upside? Are the bears going to win with the break to the downside? That all remains to be seen. So as far as the momentum and everything like that, it's definitely got good volatility right now. A little bit of momentum to the downside, but it is still above that moving average. So valid to think that it could turn itself around. But yeah, that'll be the big question mark, at least in my mind, going into next week. Who is ultimately going to win this battle taking place within the wedge? Next, we have ticker symbol TSLL. Overall, very, very impressive. And this one just continues to grind higher and higher. Got good volatility. And obviously, it's Tesla, but moves quicker than Tesla. But nonetheless, because it is so popular, wanting to get it out there just to map out a few technical levels for people. So first key area, and this would be the ideal level. When you say, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward? Let me get this down here a little bit more. There we go. There we go. And that would be if the price can stay up above this trend line here. With that being said, if the price falls below that level, that doesn't mean the chart's destroyed or ruined or anything like that. But that would certainly make things look the absolute strongest moving forward. But from the big picture standpoint, as I already talked about in the previous chart, just watch that purple line there, 50-period moving average. So as that line moves higher and higher, as long as the price is above that level, then from an overarching standpoint, everything is still perfectly fine. And then from a very narrow standpoint, in terms of patterns right now, we have this little bit of a pullback right there. So throughout the course of the day, we now have this bull flag pattern that is formed. Now, that doesn't mean that it's for sure going to go upwards because it's a bullish pattern. But yeah, would it shock anybody if all of a sudden this thing got another round of momentum? I don't think so. But all in all, very, very impressive looking chart. Next one, ticker symbol PLTR. Very nice move today. Talked about this one previously and that area of resistance right there. But you can see opening 30 minutes right there. Price came up there, broke through that level, and then picked up a nice slow and steady grind. So good movement there and a nice way to close out the week as I talk. And like I said, the market's still open. You can see that candle getting bigger and bigger. It is pushing to new highs. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level. And then the first key update just comes on a basic rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So I'm going to go through this a little quicker because you've already heard me explain this. The ideal level, that level that would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward, is now 56.50, but the overarching level, just watch that purple line there, 50 period moving average as it moves itself higher and higher. And then in terms of resistance areas, good problem to have right now because it's essentially at, it might be all-time highs, but it has now basically broken out of this little consolidation area. So that's always an exciting question because when you get to ask, is this the start of something bigger? That's always a good thing. Now think about that question. It makes no sense if nothing has even happened. But in this situation, something has happened. So it does make sense to be questioning now, is this breakout the start of something even bigger? We'll find out next week. But overall, very impressive week. Next one, TSLA Tesla. And obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but it seems obvious because all this thing has been doing is going up the past few days. But yes, once again, this thing has indeed gone up. So I'm just going to get rid of those lines as they serve their purpose for now, and namely talk about the near-term dynamic here, which is there is a bit of a pullback, which if you still believe in this overall movement here, so if you're still saying, I still think Tesla's got plenty of gas in the tank, then this little pullback here, you should be looking at as a gift because that's what you want. You no longer have the worry of, okay, am I going to be the sucker that buys the top? Am I chasing? No, the price has gone back down. Now, that's not to say this thing can't keep going down. That's why risk management matters. But if you do still believe in the overall trend here, then yeah, this is the type of action you want. You want to see pullbacks here so you can, buy the dip. And right here, you do have a bit of a dip, and that's what's being illustrated. In fact, let me draw this in here. So we have the move down, but we have where the price started down here before going up there. And like TSLL, we have ourselves an intraday bull flag pattern. So anyway, look at it. Tesla just continues to grind higher and higher. You got to think a bigger pullback is coming. But again, this thing has been very strong and all pullbacks have been very wise to buy. So if you still think that is to be the case, well, then here you go. You had a pullback to end the week. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. I won't even try to play that off. That did say November 7th, but I needed to refresh the page. So November 14th. Maybe you caught the little jump cut there. But anyways, if you're liking what you see and you want to learn more about the tool, then definitely go get signed up. There's a link down below in the description box. Or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage. So like I said, if you're enjoying, then get signed up for the free class. Next one here, NVDA, and this one finally decided to act human a little bit, and not, well, I mean, to be fair, it did still go to new highs this morning, but that didn't last very long before the pullback. But notice where it pulled back to, the power of charts, that green line that I mapped out in the previous video. So a couple of times came down there, found some support. So really heading into next week, very straightforward analysis, sideways channel pattern. Top of the channel resistance, 148.80. Bottom of the channel support right there at 146.50. So it's just a question of who's going to win this battle moving back and forth. But yeah, right now, just a sideways channel pattern here for NVIDIA, although you would have to give the advantage to the bulls because this sideways channel is occurring within an overall uptrend. That doesn't guarantee anything, but it does tilt the odds a little bit more so in the favor of the bulls because, again, sideways channel in an overall uptrend, you would think that, well, the price will go with the trend. Next one, NCL, absolute ugly train wreck of a chart, but you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. So yes, at one point the price was all the way up here, and then it just got crushed and crushed and crushed. But what makes this interesting is the fact that we just needed to get a little bit more ugly. We just needed to get a little bit more crushed, and then the price is starting to come down to these very, very interesting moving averages. And as I've said, a dozen times, and we'll say a dozen more times, there are no guarantees, but is it valid to think that if the price comes down here, it could bounce around and then get a bounce off that moving average? Absolutely. And assuming you are disciplined, then you could be looking at a very nice risk versus reward scenario because if you don't get the bounce, oh well, you have a controlled loss. If you do get a bounce, not even a reversal, but just simply a bounce, you could be looking at good solid reward relative to what was being risked in the first place. So if you're a disciplined trader, you like these sorts of opportunities in the ugly situations on penny stocks, then keep an eye on it. Next one, IONQ. Talked about this one in yesterday's video, and it played out. You could throw this into a textbook. Got the breakout right there at that point. Levels of resistance tend to act as support. Came up, pulled back. Oh, look, right where it found support at the former breakout point. before working its way back upwards. So, I mean, truly just a textbook example there. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those levels. But we have basically a case of deja vu because we have, once again, another bull pennant pattern. So there is a top of the pattern right there as resistance. There is the bottom part of the pattern as support. And you can just see the wedge-like nature of it. And again, I know I'm going through this quicker, but I've already talked about these wedges, so it's just a question of who is ultimately going to win this battle. But at the end of the day, this thing has been very, very strong in volume, and as traders, that's what it's all about. So can the bulls get a break to the upside next week of this wedge? Grab your popcorn. Next one, ticker symbol SOFI. Very, very impressive move today. Borderline straight up. A couple of red candles in there, but overall, very, very impressive movement. And just want to offer up a little bit more standpoint. You can see here, it just higher highs and higher lows ever since it bounced off of that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. Been very, very strong, very impressive, and really not a whole lot to say from a resistance standpoint. Now, to be fair, I mean, and I will, you can just say, well, where did the party finally stop today? Well, last 30 minutes it stopped at basically $13. So yes, that's technically the area of resistance, but for all intensive purposes, this thing is basically in blue sky breakout territory right now. So it's more so a matter of, because you got to be careful. You don't want to be buying the top, chasing prices, but if you do like to try to buy pullbacks, where's the potential pullback area at? Well, the level that stands out to me initially is that former breakout area right there at 1255, and that is that ideal level. But then from the overarching level, as far as what would keep the chart healthy, as long as the price stays above that purple line there, everything is still perfectly fine. So all things considered, great looking chart here. Just be careful. You don't want to chase the price. You want to be buying tops, but like I said, you got to give credit where credit's due. Very healthy looking chart. Next one, TQQQ, and this will mean a little bit more to those that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, talked about that red line right there at 83 as the main area of resistance. And yeah, the price did actually push through it a couple times, but you can see could never gain any sort of momentum and build any sort of true strength, which is fine. It's not like the price has got to explode every single day. But nonetheless, going into next week, $83 remains that key area of resistance. And then as far as supports are concerned, the price is still up above what I would consider this very steep trend line, which really illustrates how crazy this strength has been. Because like I said, by no means is that like a shallow trend line. Very steep, yet the price continues to hold above it. We'll see if that can remain the case next week. I doubt it. But even if the price falls below there, as long as the price is above that purple line, that would be great. But there's just so many areas of support, because even if the purple line doesn't hold, you now have the 200 period, that pink line starting to gradually slope upwards. Did I say soap? I meant slope upwards. So like I said, just a lot of bullishness going on here. But yeah, as far as, if you're trying to play some sort of momentum pullback, yeah, right there, could you get a little bit of a bounce off that level? That's more than plausible. But overall, very, very impressive back half to the week. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a moment, but again, for you stock traders, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then definitely go get signed up for the free webinar. It'll be next week, Thursday, November 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. One quick clarification here. I am now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours and not 30 minutes. And that's because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So in order for this analysis to remain relevant all weekend long, I just want to look at a longer time frame and then walk you through some questions and based on how you answer those questions, that'll dictate the current status of the chart. So as of now, everything is holding itself just fine and nothing really new. So let's just say you're watching this Sunday at some point. Question number one becomes, where is the price at relative to 73,700? As long as you're answering the question that the price is up above that level, that is a good thing. That implies that worst case scenario, if the price, was down around here somewhere, all that would be giving you from a pattern standpoint is some sort of, bull flag, bull pennant type pattern. So like I said, up above that level, still perfectly fine. Now, if you are answering the question, the price is down below there. Next immediate question is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to the purple line there? 50 period simple moving average. And if you're saying, well, Clay, the price is down below there. Okay, next question, where's the price at relative to there? I highly doubt this is the case, but and I use this word very lightly, the only point where I would say to panic, a very light panic, would be if somehow you're answering the question, the price is down below there. I doubt that's the case, but like I said, that would be kind of the gauge where things start to look very, very sketchy. And then common sense will take you far. If you're saying, well, Clay, not only is the price still up above that level there, it's actually way up here at 80,000. Well, that's just telling you that this current breakout here has gotten that much stronger over the weekend. So walk yourself through those questions. Keep your eye on these levels, and that'll keep this relevant all weekend long. As I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a Bitcoin and crypto trader to definitely get signed up for the free class. So again, if you like what you saw here, then go get signed up for it. It'll be next week, Thursday, November 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please, if you want to just help out and support the channel, that requires no money at all, just please hit that subscribe button. Doing that really goes a long way, and I appreciate it and thank you in advance. So definitely get signed up for that free class. Have a great weekend.